Hey everybody, we're continuing the Moving to Tennessee series. Today we're going to be adding Maryville. Let's get into it. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Maryville. Maryville is a great place to live, it's a growing city, and it's a place that a lot of people from out of town seem to really be drawn to. Alright, so just a little bit about Maryville. Maryville is in Blount County, Tennessee. It's the largest city in Blount County. It's considered part of the greater Knoxville area. According to the 2020 census, the population was just under 32,000. It's really taken off in the last couple of years. It's located right outside of the Smoky Mountains. In my opinion, it has some of the best mountain views in East Tennessee. Okay, so let's talk about history here a little bit. So Maryville was first inhabited by a Cherokee village known as the Ellijay. I believe I'm saying that correctly. They resided on the land when the European settlers first arrived. Maryville was incorporated as a city in 1795. It was named after Mary Granger Blount, the wife of William Blount, whom Blount County is named after. One thing to note here, the proper pronunciation of Maryville might be Maryville, but all the locals call it Maryville, so if you refer to it as Maryville, everyone's going to know that you're from out of town. A little bit more about William Blount here. He was an American founding father, a statesman, a farmer, a land speculator, who also happened to sign the United States Constitution. All right, taking a look at roads, let's start with 129, also known as Alcoa Highway. As the name implies, it takes you straight through Alcoa. It's going to be your quickest way to get to Knoxville. The McGee Tyson Airport right here is located off of Alcoa Highway 129. And 129 also intersects with 411 and 321, which are two other main roads in Maryville. All right, next let's take a look at 321. As previously mentioned, 321 intersects Alcoa Highway. Alcoa Highway runs north and south through Maryville, whereas 321 runs east and west. If you head west, you're going to go through Friendsville into Lenoir City. If you head east, you're going to go through Townsend all the way to Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. 321 runs right through the heart of Maryville. You have some shopping centers, some restaurants, some businesses located off of it, as well as Maryville College. Looking at 411, if you take 411 south this way, it'll take you through Greenback, into Monroe County, into Von Orr. If you take it the other direction, it'll take you through Seymour, into Sevierville. Right here, now my computer's loading a little slow here, but right here, 411 breaks off into East Broadway. East Broadway is going to take you through downtown Maryville, but when it breaks right here, here's 411, here's the other part of 411, turns into Sevierville Road, which, as the name implies, takes you to Sevierville after you get through Seymour. Broadway Avenue, as I mentioned, breaks off from 411. It's going to take you straight through downtown Maryville, where you can find some restaurants, some stores, and some bars and things like that. All right, moving on to schools. As far as the public school system goes, you have three high schools. Maryville High School, which is your city school, and then you have two county high schools, which are William Blount High School and Heritage High School. If you live in the county on the west side of Maryville, you're going to be going to William Blount. That's going to be pulling from Friendsville. It's going to be pulling from Louisville. It's going to be pulling from the Monroe County side of Maryville. If you live on the east side of Maryville, you're going to be going to Heritage High School. So if that's closer to Wallen or closer to Rockford, you're going to be going to Heritage. And then if you live in the city, you'll go to Maryville High School. Now let's look at middle schools. If you live over here near Friendsville, you're going to be going to Union Grove Middle School. If you live back here near Von Orr, right outside of Greenback, you're going to be going to Carpenter's Middle School. These two middle schools are going to feed into William Blount High School. The two middle schools that feed into Heritage High School are going to be Heritage Middle School and Eagleton Middle School. If you're in the city, you're going to either be going to Coulter Grove or Montgomery Ridge Intermediate School up until 8th grade, where you transition to Maryville Junior High for 8th and 9th grade. Looking at elementary schools, you have three city elementary schools: John Sevier Elementary, Sam Houston, and Foothills Elementary. As I zoom out here in the green, you can see all of the different county schools as well. As far as churches go in Maryville, you have most denominations of Christianity. You have a Catholic church, you have a Lutheran, an Episcopal, a Baptist, non-denominational Christian, You have a Church of Christ. As far as mosques go, I know there's a Muslim community on the west side of Maryville. And as far as synagogues go, I don't believe, to my knowledge, there are no synagogues. For hospitals in Maryville, your hospital is going to be Blount Memorial, which is located off of 321. They should be able to take care of most things here. If they can't, I would imagine they would send you to UT Medical Center, which is located off of Alcoa Highway, roughly about 25 to 30 minutes away. Looking at companies and employers in Maryville, according to a 2020 report, Denso was number 1, followed by Clayton Homes, Blount Memorial, McGee Tyson Air National Guard Base, and Blount County Schools. There's also been an Amazon facility that has been added, as well as Smith & Wesson moving in. Looking at pay scale, the cost of living in Maryville is 11% lower than the national average. That's 1% less on housing, 3% lower on utilities, and 11% lower on groceries. If you scroll down a little bit, here you can see the housing, utilities, and transportation, as well as food and grocery and healthcare. Rent's about $1,200 a month, energy bills about $166, so on and so forth. We're going to look at the demographic breakdown according to census.gov. This is for people who live in the city. According to census.gov, 32,263 people live in Maryville as of July 1st, 2021. And from there, you can look at the age and sex breakdown, the race and Hispanic origin, population characteristics, so on and so forth. I'll have all of this linked down below in the description. All right, so looking at some market stats for Maryville, all of this data was pulled within the last 12 months. So anything from January 4th of 22 up till today, which is January 4th of 2023. There were 1,393 listings sold. The average list price was $380,316. The average sold price was $380,477. So that's a little over 100% sold to list price. The average sold price per square foot was $192, and the average agent days on market was 15 days. For crime in Maryville, I'm looking at a website called neighborhoodscout.com. For legal reasons, I'm not going to interpret any of this data. I just wanted to provide a means to obtain it. I'll have it linked down below in the description. This website has a lot of good information, a lot of good analytics and stuff like that, that if you're interested in, you can take a look at. As far as public transportation goes, Maryville is serviced by East Tennessee Human Resource Agency. There's no major bus lines or rail or anything like that, though. As far as restaurants go in Maryville, your two main upscale restaurants are going to be Foothills Mill & Co. and the Walnut Kitchen, which are located right next to each other. Fast food, you have most of your main fast food, Burger King, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's, etc. Aubrey's right here. Aubrey's is my favorite place to get chicken or burgers or something along those lines. You have a Calhoun's. As far as Mexican goes, you have Los Amigos. You have El Barril. You got a few others in there as well. Hot Rod's 50s Diner, that's a cool place to go. As the name implies, it's just an old school 50s diner feel. Ice cream, you have Brewster's right here. So you have a lot of good options. There's actually quite a few restaurants in Maryville. Some things to do in Maryville, we'll start with golf. You have Lambert Acres Golf Club. It's a fun place to play. You also have a couple other courses that are nearby, such as Green Meadow in Alcoa or Iguani Farms out in Rockford. You have Parkway Drive-In Theater. There's not many drive-ins left, so that's a fun thing to do. You also have traditional movie theater at the mall. You have a couple bars downtown, Two Doors Down and Bracken's, my favorites. I used to go to Two Doors Down and sing karaoke on Wednesday nights. Bracken's is a blues club, blues bar. It's a fun place to go. And then I know it's not technically in Maryville, but if you haven't checked out the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, that's a must as well. My final thoughts on Maryville is that it's a great place to live. I actually lived there myself for a couple years. It's got some of the best mountain views in East Tennessee. It's growing, but it still has a small town community feel. It's lacking a little bit in the nightlife, but it has most of what you need overall. It has a lot of different restaurant options. There's not a whole lot of bad things to say about Maryville. All right, that wraps this video up. As always, I appreciate y'all watching. If you found this video useful, please consider giving me a subscribe and a thumbs up. It really helps me out. It helps my channel grow. If you have any questions, I'd love to talk to you. I link my contact information below. I've also dropped a lot of the links to the things we discussed today. Thanks again, and I'll see y'all next time.